Western Mass News is looking into possible local impacts after a dramatic body cam video was released from last week's fatal shooting of those two police officers in Connecticut. Now, we know the Springfield Police Department is one of only a few here in the Bay State with body cameras fully implemented.
Could this tragedy in Connecticut prompt more in our area? Western Mass News reporter Matt Satilli joins us live in studio after getting answers. Matt.
Chris and Mary, in June 2020, Springfield PD was the largest municipality in the state of Massachusetts to implement the use of body-worn cameras. Now, after seeing what the Connecticut body cam footage revealed, local leaders are hoping more departments across Western Mass will follow suit.
Very disheartening to see how our law enforcement agents on a day-to-day basis face these type of same situations.
State Representative Carlos Gonzalez speaking with Western Mass News after body camera footage from Bristol, Connecticut police officer Alec Ayurado was released by the Connecticut Inspector General's office Sunday night. Gonzalez also serves as the chairman of the Joint Committee of Public Safety and Homeland Security. He says he was a strong advocate for the use of body-worn cameras in the Springfield Police Department before they were implemented in June 2020.
The body cameras have been another weapon to fight crime for the police departments.
Body cam video of Wednesday night's incident shows 3 officers ambushed, shot, 2 of them killed, and the 3rd officer, Ayurado, fatally shooting the suspect. Connecticut's Office of the Inspector General declaring this use of deadly force as seen on video was justified. That office was established in 2021 and charged with conducting investigations of police officers. Gonzalez tells Western Mass News he'd like to see similar action here in the Bay State.
We need to have a statewide policy in place that can look at these situations. Sometimes we may need to delay more than other times. However, the sooner we get out to the public, the better it is.
We also checked in with Springfield Police Department Public Information Officer Ryan Walsh to get answers on how their program works. We're told an internal audit unit reviews footage and can investigate if something is observed that may be against department policy. The district attorney's office can also investigate potential criminal cases. The first 5 years of the Springfield program, up to the year 2024, is estimated to cost about $2.5 million. To help fund the program, the department received over $1 million in grant money from the U.S. Department of Justice. Despite the hefty price tag, Walsh tells Western Mass News the results are promising, as complaints of criminal misconduct by police have also gone down over that time frame, and others are soon following suit.
Very soon, we have our Department of Correction officers that will have body cameras. So the state has put some funding available. We need to get more, and municipalities need to buy in.
Funeral arrangements for a joint service for Sergeant DeMonte and Officer Hamzy have been set for this Friday, October 21st at Pratt & Whitney Stadium at Rentschler Field in East Hartford, Connecticut. Reporting live in studio, Matt Satilli, Western Mass News.
Matt.